Way too many nice Kikuyu girls end up getting married to a Luhya man. Yeah, way too many. Actually, it seems that Luhya ladies have this attraction for Luhya men. They find Luhya men irresistible. Okay? Now, in this recording, we're going to find out why, and we're going to speak the whole truth and nothing but the truth. We're going to reveal that which others have not been able to talk about openly. We're going to talk about it, and we're going to use a case study, a true story. This is what happened. And the thing about this true story, it illustrates the real reason. Because this lady did not like this guy the first time she saw him. Yeah, she had no attraction whatsoever to him. But they ended up getting married. They've now been married for almost 30 years. Okay? Right, let's get on to it. Jerry was a beautiful girl by any means, and really yearned for marriage, just like any other young lady. You see, she also looked very innocent, actually innocent enough. But it was just as well, because if people could know what was going on in her mind, they would faint. Yeah? She was one of those ladies who just think about sex all the time. Okay? And in her heart, she yearned for the day she'd find the right man to settle down with, and also somebody who would be able to quench her fires regularly. That's really what it was, and that's what was on her mind. Already she knew that it could not be one of the boys from her village in Muranga, because she had had a few sexual experiences there with a few boys, and frankly, they left a lot to be desired. Let me just leave it at that. And so, of course, this was one of the reasons why Njeri was very excited when she finally got a chance to come back to the city in the sun, Nairobi, in search of a job. She had a lot of big dreams. She knew that she would find a job, and most importantly, she'd find that man. Yeah, the one. She was confident enough. She knew she was beautiful. She knew she would turn heads anywhere, and she was right. But it all started on the wrong footing. She ended up staying with a relative, an aunt, who was treating her like a 6-year-old, yeah? Very strict. Any whiff of a man nearby or in the vicinity would send her into a tantrum, yeah? And she'd make noise and threaten to return her to the village. But job-wise, she was lucky. A chance meeting with an old schoolmate when she had been sent to the shops with her aunt turned into a job somewhere in Gara. It was a boring job at a construction site, counting the material coming in and going out, but at least it was a job and it gave her an income. Well, it wasn't enough for her to move out of her auntie's house, but at least it was enough for her to buy some basics and to start looking a little like the Nairobi ladies. Deep in her heart, she envied those people who worked in offices, and I mean proper offices, with the nice, well-dressed, handsome men with good cologne, you know. In the construction site where she worked, there was really nothing to interest her. The men were sweaty, they talked in vulgar language, most of them were not good looking, and most of all, she noticed that the supervisor always used to look, she used to always catch the supervisor staring at her, yeah, and that made her want to throw up. The man was way too big, you know, typical Luhya, way too big. In fact, he reminded her of the movie King Kong. And then to make matters worse, his nose. What? His nose. Just to describe it, it looked like somebody had pressed it onto a hot frying pan the minute he was born. It was flat. Gosh, yuck. In fact, Njeri would laugh alone when she thought about it. But the guy's interest persisted. She just ignored him. But the man did not give up. Many times he would invite Njeri for a soda, but she would politely decline. She was not a fool. The man was the supervisor, and he actually had the power to get her fired if he wanted to. Yeah, she knew that. But she also knew what the man really wanted. And she was sure, very sure, that she was not interested. This time, her draconian rules auntie was put to good effect. Yeah, and she managed to bail her out of many tricky situations, because she would just explain how auntie behaves, explain how dangerous her situation was, and the man would have just to back down. Yeah, usually sympathizing with her. And because it was true, of course, she put up a very convincing performance. And so the man never really guessed the real reason why she was not interested at all. But one day there was a matatu strike, and everything changed. Now, those who have lived in Nairobi know what happens when matatus are on strike. Pure chaos. And Njeri panicked big time. What was she going to do? Yeah, Umoja was not walking distance from the Ngara offices where she worked, or the Ngara construction site. So poor Njeri was standing there, rather confused, when out of the gate came the supervisor. He came out rattling the office keys in his hands. And the first thing Njeri noticed was his smile. She didn't like that smile. You know, if a lion was able to smile, this was the sort of smile that would be on its face after cornering some poor defenseless gazelle. But Njeri's options were very limited. Very limited. Now make sure you catch part 2 of this recording to find out what happened, and then I'll be able to explain to you, you'll be able to know the secret, the reason why, the real reason, which people don't talk about, why Kikuyu lasses or Kikuyu women have a weakness for Luhya men. Okay? What all you need to do is click on the link you see on the top left hand side of your screen, and you'll find yourself in part 2. Yeah? This you must be able to hear. Yeah? Don't miss this. It'll shock you. See you there in a minute.